Carpet 29. The Dream. "It's come down to this," said Hermione, rubbing for her head. Either Mr. Crouch attacked Victor, or somebody else attacked both of them when Victor wasn't looking. "It must be been Crouch," said Ron at once. "That's why he was gone when Harry and Dumbledore got here. He done a runner." "I don't think so," said Harry, shaking his head. "He seemed really weak. I don't record he was up to disappointing or anything." "You can disappoint? In these Hogwarts grounds? Haven't I told you enjoy times?" said Hermione. "Okay. How's this for theory?" said Ron, excitedly. "Krum attacked Crouch? No. Wait for it." And then stunned himself. "And Mr. Crouch evaporated, did he?" said Hermione coldly. "Oh yeah. It was daybreak." Harry, Ron, and Hermione had crept out of their dormitories very early and hurried up to the Orally together to send a note to Sirius. How they were standing looking out the mystery grounds. All three of them were putty-eyed and pale, because they had been talking late into the night about Mr. Crouch. "Just to throw it again, Harry," said Hermione. "What did Mr. Crouch actually say?" "I've told you he wasn't making much sense," said Harry. "He said we wanted to warn Dumbledore about sometimes. He definitely mentioned Bertha Jorkins, and he seemed to think she was dead. He kept saying stuff was his fault. He mentally meant his son." "Well, that was his fault," said Hermione testily. "He was out of his mind," said Harry. "Half the time he seemed to think his wife and son were still alive, and he kept talking to Beckery about Ward and giving him instruction. Never mind. What had he said about you know who?" said Ron tentatively. "I've told to you," Harry reported Dudley. "He said he's getting stronger." There was a pause. "Harry Potter and Goblet of Fire," the Ron said in fastly confidential voice. "But he was out his mind, like you said. So out of it was probably just Rowling. He was sent when he was trying to talk about Voldemort," said Harry. "Parents Ron wins. He was having real trouble stringing two words together, but that was when he seemed to know where he was and know what he wanted to do. He just kept saying he had to see Dumbledore." Harry turned away from the windows and started up into the rafters of the many perches very emptily, every how and then another on would swoop in through one of the windows, returning from its nights hunting with a mouse in his brake. "If Snape hadn't held me up," Harry said bitterly, We might be got there in time. The headmaster is busy. Potter. What's this rubbish, Potter? Why could he have just got out of the way? Maybe he didn't want you to get here, said Ron quickly. Maybe, hand on, how fast did you record he could be got down to the forest? Did you record he could be beating you and Dumbledore here? Not honest. He can't turn himself into a bat or some things, said Harry. Wouldn't put it past him, Ron muttered. We need to see Profession moodily, said Hermione. We need to find out whether he found Mr. Crouch. If he had the Marauder's map on him, he wouldn't be been Yessie, said Harry, unless Crouch was already outside the grounds, said Ron, because it only shows up to the bounders, doesn't. Shh, said Hermione suddenly. Somebody was climbered the stepped out to them. Orally, Harry could hear two voices, a grind, coming closer and closer. That blackmail, that is, where I could get into a lot of trouble for that. We tired behind Pollitt. It's time to play dirtly, like him. He wouldn't like the Ministry of Magic knows what he did. I'm telling you, if you put that in writing, it's blackmail, yeah, and you won't be complaining if we get a nice fat playoff, will you? The Overly door began open. Fred and Crouch came over the threshold. Went Frost and said of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. What were you doing here? Ron and Fred said at the same time. Sending letters, said Harry and Crouch in unison. What a time, said Hermione and Fred. Fred couldn't find. We know ask you what you are doing if you don't ask us, he said. He was holding enchanted Evanpole in his hands. Harry glanced at his, but Fred, whatever, suddenly on a pursuit, shifted and hand, so that the name on his was covered. Well done, let's hot you up, he said, making a mush brown and pointing at the door. Ron didn't move. Who are you blackmailing? He said. The grin vanished from Fred's face. Harry saw George have cringed at Fred before smiling at Ron. Don't be stupid. It was only joking, he said yesily. Didn't sound like that, said Ron. Fred and George looked at each other. When Fred said arborally, I've told you before, Ron, keep your nose out it. You like it's the shape it is. Can see why you won't, but it's my benefit if you mailing someone, said Ron. George's right. You could end up in serious trouble for that. Told you I was joking, said George. He, walking over to Fred, put the letter out of his hands and began attached it to the leg of the nearest brown owl. You are starting to sound a bit like our dear older brother. You are Ron. Carry on like this, and you will be made perfect. No, I won't, said Ron coldly. George, carrying the part on over the window, and it looked off. He turned it around and grinned at Ron. Well, stop telling people what to do then. See us later. He and Fred let the oven lie. Harry, Ron, and Hermione started at each other. You don't think they know something about all this, you do? Hermione whispered. About Crush and everything? No, said Harry. Was something that serious. They tell someone. They tell Dumbledore. Ron Howard was looking uncomfortable. What's the matter? Hermione asked him. Well, said Ron slowly, I don't know if they would. We are obsessed with making money lately. I noticed. It's when I was heading around with them when you know. We weren't talking. Harry finished the sentence for him. Yeah, but blackmail. It's this joke shop. Idea that we got, said Ron. I threw the way, only saying it to annoy Mom. But they really meaning it. They wants to start at one. We only got a year left at Hogwarts. They keep doing about how it's time to think about their future, and that can't help them, and they need gold get started. Hermione was looked uncomfortable now. Yes, but they wouldn't do anything against the law to get gold. Would they? Said Ron, looking special. I do know. They don't actually mind breaking rules, do they? Yes, but it's they love, said Hermione, look and shrugged. This is some still school rule. They all get a lot more than tuition for blackmail. Ron, maybe you better tell Pettigrew. Are you mad? Said Ron. Tell Pettigrew? He'd probably do crush and turn them in. He started at the window through which Fred and George's own head disappeared, then said, Come on, let's get some breakfast. Do you think it's too early to go and see Professor Moody? Hermione said, as they went down the spiral stairs. Yes, said Harry. He had probably blast us through the door if we wake him. At the crack of dawn, we'll think we're trying to attack him while he's asleep. Let's kill it till break. History of magic had rarely gone too slowly. Harry kept checking Ron's watch, having finally desecrated his own, but Ron's was moving too so slowly. He could have sworn it had stopped working too. All three of them were so tired they could happily have put their heads down on the desk and slept. Even Hermione wasn't taking her actual notice, but was stealing with her head on her hand, gazing at Professor Binns, with her eyes out of focus. When the bell finally rang, they hurried out into the corridors, towards the dark classroom, and found Professor Moody leaving it. He looked as tired as they felt. The eyelid of his normally eye was dropping, leaving his face an even more lucid appearance than usual. Professor Moody, Harry called as they made their way towards him through the crowd. "Hello, Potter," crowed Moody. His magical eye followed a complete of passing first years, who sped up looking nervous. It rolled into the back of the Moody's head and watched them around the corner before he spoke again. Come in here." He stood back to let them into his empty classroom, limped in after them, and closed the door. "Did you find him?" Harry asked without preamble. "Mr. Crouch?" "No," said Moody. He moved over to his desk, sat down, stretched out his wooden leg with a slight groan, and pulled out his hymn flask. "Did you use the map?" Harry said. "Of course," said Moody, taking a swim from his flask. "Took a left out of your book, Potter. Summoned it from my office into the forest. He wasn't anyway on her. So he disappeared," said Ron. "You can't disappear in the grounds, Ron," said Hermione. "Where are other ways he could have disappeared, aren't there, Professor?" Moody's magical eye quietly as in rested on Hermione. "You are another one who might think about curse as an error," he told her. "Mind works there right away, Granger." Hermione flushed pink with pleasure. "Well, he wasn't invisibly," said Harry. "The map shows invisible people. He must be left the grounds then." "But under his own stream," said Hermione eagerly. "Or because someone made him?" "Yeah, someone. Could we put him onto a broom and float off with him?" "Could we, said Ron quickly, looking hopefully at Moody as if he too wanted to be told he had a making of an error. "We can't rule out kidnap," groaned Moody. "So," said Ron, "did you record his somewhere in Hockmeste could be anywhere, said Moody, shaking his head. Only thing we know for sure is that he's now here. He yawned wildly so that his shirt stranded, and his loose-spit mouth revealed a number of missing teeth. Then he said, "Now Dumbledore's told me you three fancy yourselves and invents guards, but there's nothing you can do for Grouch. The Mr. Lee will be looking for him now. Dumbledore's nodding. Then Potter, you just keep your mind on the swing task." "What?" said Harry. "Oh, yeah." He hadn't given the mess a since his had left it with Crumb, the provost knight. "Should be right up your street, this one," said Moody, looking up at Harry and scratching his shredded and stumbled chin. "From what Dumbledore said, you managed to get through stuff like this plenty of time, broke your way through a series of obstacles, growing the sacred stone. In your first year, did you?" "We haven't helped," Ron said quickly. "Me and Hermione helped." Moody grinned. "We'll help him practice for this one, and I will be very surprised if he doesn't win," he said. "In the meantime, contrast Wilderly Potter. Contrast vigilant." He took another long groan from his hip flask, and his magical eyes whipped onto the window. The drums said of the Durmstrang ship was visible through it. "You too." His normal eye was a Ron and Hermione. "You stick close to Potter, all right? I'm keeping an eye on string, but all the same, you can never have too many eyes out." Sirius sent their own back the very next morning. It fluttered down past Harry and same moment that it finally landed in front of Hermione, clutching a copy of the Daily Prowler. In this break, she took the nervous part, scanned the first 5 pages, said, "Ha! She has got wind of Crouch," when joined Ron and Harry in reading was Sirius had to weigh on masterly even of night before last. "Harry, what you do think you are playing at walking off into the forest with Victor Kern? I want you to swear, by return on, that you are not going to go walking with anyone else at night. Where there is somebody healthily dangerous at Hogwarts. It is clear to me that they wanted to stop Crouch since Dumbledore and you were probably feet away from them in the dark. You could have been killed. Your name didn't get into the Goblet of Fire by accident. If someone trying to attack you, there are on their last chance, they choose to Ron and Hermione. Do not leave Gryffindor's tower after hours, and arm yourself for the thrilling task. Practice turning and disarming a few hexes wouldn't do amiss either. There is nothing you can do about throw. Grosh. Keep your head down and look after yourself. I'm waiting for you later. Gives me your word. You won't say out of once again. Serious. Who's here? Lecture me about being off a bones? Said Harry in middle fashion, as he wouldn't folded up Sirius later and put it inside his rubbers. After all, the stuff he did at school. He's worried about you, said Hermione sharply, just like Moody and Harriet. So listen to them. No one's tired to attack me all year, said Harry. No one do anything to me at all, except put your name in the Goblet of Fire, said Hermione, and they must be done that for a reason. Harry Stafford is right. Maybe they be been billing their times. Maybe this is task they're doing to get you. Look, said Harry impatiently. Let's say Stafford is right, and someone stand calm to kidnap Grouch, while they would be been in the trees near our would say, but they waited till I was out of the way until they attacked. Then say, so it doesn't look like I am their tracked, do it? They could have made it look like an ascendant if they moored you in the forest, said Hermione. But if you die during attacks, they didn't care about attacked crime. Did they? Said Harry. Why didn't they just police me at the same time? They would be made it look like crime, and I had a tool of something. Harry, I don't understand it innate, is it? Said Hermione desperately. I just know where are a lot of old things doing, and I don't like it. Moody writes. Staffel is right. You are good to get in training for the trying task. Staring away, and you made sure you write back Staffelet and promise him you're not doing the good snaking of alone again. The Hogwarts grown never looked more inviting than when Harry had to think indoors. For the next few days he spent all of his free time either in the library with Hermione and Ron, looking up Scholastics, or else in empty classrooms, with the sneaked into the prestige. Harry was contraction of the stunning spell, which he had never used before. The trouble was that practicing in a world alternative suffixes on Ron and Hermione part. Can't we kidnap Mrs. Norris? Ron suggested during Monday lunchtime, as he lay flat on his back in the middle of their cramped classroom, having just been stunned and revolted by Harry for the 5th time in a row. Let's toughen her for a bit. Or you could use Dobby, Harry. I bet he did do anything help you. I'm not complaining or anything. He got gently to his feet, rubbing his black side, but I'm itching all over. Well, you keep missing the cushions, don't you? Said Hermione impatiently, removing the pile of cushions they had used for the brushing spell, which Fleet's had left in cabinet just dry and full blackboards. When you are stunned, you can't align too well, Hermione, said Ron angrily. Why don't you take a turn? Well, I think Harry's got it known and away. Anyway, said Hermione testily, and we don't have to worry about disappearing because he has been able to do that for ages. I think we ought to start on some of the series has his everything. He looked down the list that had made it liberally. I like the look of this one, she said. This impermanent jinx should show down anything what's trying to attack you. Harry, we'll start with that one. The bank run. They hastily shoved the conscience back into Fitzwicks Road and slipped out the classroom. See you at dinner, said Hermione, and she set off actively. White hair and brown hadn't toes nor told her. And the vintage broad strips of the dazzling gold sunlight fell across the corridors from the high window. The sky outside was so brilliantly blue it looked as though it had been enameled. It doing to be bullying in Travan's room. She never puts out that fire, said Ron, and they started up the stairs towards the slipped ladders and the trapdoor. He was quite right. The dimly lit road was some think hot. The farms from the performed fire were having than ever. Harry's head swam as he made his way over to one of the curtained windows. Will Professor Trelawney was looking the overway. Disentangling herself from a lamp, he opened it an inch or so and sank back in his armchair so that a soft breeze played across his face. It was extremely comfortable. "My dears," said Professor Trelawney, sitting down in her winded armchair in front of the class and peering around at them all with her sternly enchanted eye. "We have almost finished our work on planetary divination. Today, however, will be an excellent opportunity to examine the effect of Mars, for he is blessed most intensely at present time. If you will all look this way, I will dim the lights." She waved her wand and the lamps went out. The fire was the only source of light known. Professor Trelawney bent down and lifted from under the chair a miniature model of the solar system, contained within a glass dome. It was a beautiful thing. Each of the moons glimmered in place around the 9 planets and the fiery sun, all of them heading in the air beneath the glass. Harry watched lazily as Professor Trelawney began to point out the fascinating angle Mars was making with Neptune. The having performed, fumes washed over him, and the breeze from the window played across his face. He could hear an insect humming dimly somewhere behind the curtain. His eyes began to droop. He was reading on the back of an eagle owl, soaring through the clean blue sky towards an old, evilly covered house at night, high on a hillside. Lower and lower they flew, the wind blowing pleasantly in Harry's face, until they reached a dark and broken window in the upper story of the house, and intended. Now they were flying like a gloomy passageway to a room at the very end. Through the door they went into a dark room whose windows were broken up. Harry had left the owl's back. He was watching now as it floated across the room into a chair with its back to him. Were two dark shapes on the floor beside the chair. Both of them were staring. One was a hook snake. The other was a man, a strong, balding man with watery eyes and pointed nose. He was pacing and swooping off the hard rock. "You are in luck, Voldemort," said cold, high-pitched voice from the depths of the chair, which, with the own head blanched. "You are very fortunate inside. Your broken has not ruined everything. He is dead, my lord." Dressed of man on the floor. "My lord, I'm so pleased and so sorry." "Nagini," said the gold voice, "you are out of luck. I will know. We're feeding Voldemort to you, after all. But never mind. There is still Harry Potter." The snake hissed. Harry could see and John's fluttering. "Now, War Maydew," said the good voice. "Braggart on more a little. Remind wine I will not tolerate another blunted from you, my lord. No, I beg you." The tip of a way emigrated from the depths of the chair. It was pointed at Voldemort's tail. "Crucio," said the cold voice. Voldemort screamed and threw away every nerve in his body was on fire. The screaming filling Harry's ears, and the scar on his forehead, scared with pain. He was yelling too. Voldemort would hear him. Would he know he was there? Harry opened his eyes. He was lying on the floor of Professor Trelawney's room, with his hands over his face. His skirt was still burning so badly that his eyes were watering. The pain had been real. The whole class was standing around him, and Ron was kneeling next to him, looking terrified. "You all right?" he said. "Of course he isn't," said Professor Trelawney, looked through and excited. Her great eyes loomed over Harry, gazing at him. "What was it, Potter? A permission? An apparition? What do you say?" "Nothing." Harry lied. He sat up. He could feel himself shaking. He couldn't stop himself looking around into the shadows behind him. Voldemort's voice had sounded so choose. "You were clutching your scar," said Professor. "You were rolling on the floor, clutching your scar. Come now, Potter. I have experience in these matters." Harry looked up at her. "I need to go to the hospital, right? I think," he said. "But heavens, my dear, You were undoubtedly smitten by the extraordinarily clairvoyant vibration of my room, said Professor Trelawney. If you leave now, you might lose the opportunity to see farther than you have ever. I don't want to see anything except a hidden square, said Harry. He stopped up. The class blacked away. They all looked unnerved. See you later, Harry managed to run, and he picked up his bag and headed for the trap door. Ignoring Professor Trelawney, who was wearing an exception to great frustration, and through she had just been denied a real treat. When Harry regarded the bosom of her stepdaughter, however, he did not sit off the hospital ring. He had no intention whatsoever of doing here. Sirius had told him what to do if his scare hurt him again, and Harry was doing to follow his advice. He was starting to Dumbledore's office. He marched down the corridors, thinking about what he had seen in the dream. It had been as willing as the one which had awoke him in Pretty Drive. He ran away over the details in his mind, trying to make sure he could remember them. He had heard Voldemort, a short worm tale of making blunder, but the own had brought good news. The blunder had been repeated. Someone was dead. So, Wormtail was not doing to be fed to the snake. Harry, was doing to bed to be fit to it inside. Harry had walked right past the stone Gorgonia glowering in the attended to Dumbledore's office without noticing. He blinked, looking around, realized what he had done, and retarded his steps, stopping in front of it. When remembered what he didn't know the password. Scribbling lemon, he tried tentatively. The Gorgonians did not move. Okay, said Harry, starting at it. Paragraph air, white streets want, fizzing fishy doors, best grown gum. Berkeley puts ever flower beans. Oh no, he doesn't like them, doesn't he? Oh, just open, can you? He said angrily. I really need to see him. It's arrogant. The Gorgonia might immovable. Harry kicked it and achieving nothing but an extremely pain in this big toe. Chocolate frog, he yelled, angrily standing on one leg. Sugar quail, chocolate crux. The gorgonius played to life and jumped aside. Hair blinked. Chocolate cluster? He said amazed. I was only joking. He hurried through the gap in the walls and stepped onto the foot of a spiral stone staircase. Its moving slowly upward as the door closed behind him, taking him up to a policite oak door with a brass door knocker. He could hear voice from inside the office. He stepped off the moving staircase and hesitated, listening. Dumbledore and afraid. I don't see contention, don't see it at all. It was the voice of Minnegrates from Magic. Cornetils food, Ludo says, Bezer's perfectly capable of getting himself lost. I agree. We would have explained it to have found her by now, but all the same, there are no evidence of foul play. Dumbledore, none at all. As for her disappointed being linked with Buckley Crouch, and what you do think happened to Bedrick Crouch, Minister, said moody, growling voice. I see two possibilities. Alastair, said Fruit. A late coach has finally cracked. More than likely, I'm sure you are agree. Giving him personal history. Lost his mind and gone wandered off somewhere. He wandered extremely quietly. If what you said is the case, Cornelius, said Dumbledore calmly, or else, well, Fruit sounded embarrassed. Well, I will receive white judgment until after I have seen the place where he was found, but you say it was just past the extremist carries. Dumbledore, you know what woman is. I consider her to be a very humble head mistress and an excellent dancer, said Dumbledore quietly. Dumbledore, come on, said Fruit angrily. Don't you think you mayn't be projected in her flower because of Hagrid? They don't all turn out harmless. If indeed you can call Hagrid harmless with the monster fixation he's got. I know. More accepted, Madame Maxime, than heard it, said Dumbledore. Just as calmly, I think it's positive, but that is, you who are projected it earnestly. Can we wrap up this discussion? Growled Moody. Yes, Let's go down into the grounds, one said Confels. No, it's not that, said Moody. It's just say Potter wants a word with you, Dumbledore. He's just outside the door.